Well, my name is OCÉANE, and this was ASMR. But before going any further in this talk, I want to take you through my journey when discovering ASMR. So 3 years ago, at the same period, I was 20 years old, and I was studying communication in the city of Nantes, a city in the northwest part of France. So every morning, I was spending time in the tramway going to school, and spending time in the tramway going back home. At this moment, I was a huge YouTube consumer. Well, I'm still a huge YouTube consumer. But during all my daily commute to school, to internship, and during all my free time at home, I was always playing around on YouTube trying to find new content and new creator. So one night, from recommendation to recommendation, I was watching my first ASMR video. So he is a French ASMR artist. He has a YouTube channel named Paris ASMR. But I clicked on this video because the subject was quite interesting for me. It was about essential oils. I just wanted to know more about essential oils. Obviously, I saw it was written binaural ASMR. I didn't know what it was standing for. I thought it was related to essential oils. But never mind, I clicked on the video, and then my first thought was, why is he whispering? I was confused, and that was the first time for me hearing someone whispering in my ears, and especially with earphones. But never mind, I just increased the volume, and I continue. But then I saw him speaking from one side of the screen to the other side, and I could hear the difference in my headphones. That was something weird, but at this moment, I just wanted to know what was next. So I continued the video again, and then he lost me at the point when he started tapping on objects. It was completely weird for me, completely new. I never saw someone tapping on objects randomly. But at this moment, I couldn't quit the video because there was something holding me and something weirdly satisfying by watching ASMR. So this night, from watching one video, to understand more, I watched 10 of them. But days after, because I actually liked it, I watched 100 of them. And now I can't even count how many because it's part of my daily routine. But what does ASMR is really mean? What ASMR is really meaning? ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. I know it's a scientific term, but don't worry. Actually, meridians are just spots on your body that are situated in the back of your head, on your neck, and on your shoulder. And while watching ASMR, they will be triggered, and you're going to feel a weird, good sensation. But to be more understandable, I'm sure we all know this scalp massage tool. Well, this dog might really enjoy his time now. Actually, if you're receptive to ASMR, you will be able to feel the same feelings, slightly the same feelings, as what you can feel with this tool. So you will feel goosebumps and tingling sensation from the back of your head into your spine and your shoulders. But when does ASMR was discovered? The first time people were talking about weirdly good sensation was in 2008 on a forum, and they called it Attention Induces Head Orgasm. Later this year, a community was created on a Yahoo group named Society of Sensationalists, and they gathered to understand more about what was this weird feeling they were all experiencing. But the final term ASMR was finally coined in 2010 by Jennifer Allen, and she also was the first person to post the first whispering video on YouTube. I would like to thank you, Jennifer, because thanks to her, now the ASMR community is still growing on YouTube, but also on other platforms. But how does ASMR is giving you tingles? Well, those reactions come from different triggers. There's 100 of them for everyone. But the most known one is whispering. There's also tapping. Might not hear very well. But I'm going to take you through a little experiment now. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And I'm going to whisper gently a trigger word. Coconut, 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 coconut. I know it sounds weird. It's live ASMR, it's too short. But I'm going to ask Z, how did you feel about that?
It's quite intriguing. I have to try it out some more. It felt weird.
Thank you. Zeus, how did you feel about that?
It's weirdly relaxing.
Okay, coconut is a trigger word because it's and are really related to the typing as well. But it exists hundreds of them with different sounds. In addition to that, there is also scratching. I don't know if we can hear. There is scratching, but there is also personal attention and visual triggers such as hand movements. But there is different elements needed to create ASMR. Firstly, the microphone. So you can either use the microphone from your headphones, but also a simple microphone as this one. But most commonly, we use a binaural and 3D microphone that is able to reproduce the sound catch in the left or in the right side. Secondly, we have the camera. The camera framing is very important. It's usually very close and focused on the ASMR artist, and that induces a deep concentration and a close intimacy with the ASMR artist. But as we are all different, your triggers might not be the same as your friend triggers, and neither mine. And you might not be receptive, or well, you might have not found your triggers, because the journey to find them may be quite long for some of us. But they're still unreceptive people, and a part of them are always associating ASMR to something sexual. To understand that, I explain you later all the physical effects. But before, according to the neurologist Dr. Pierre Lemarquis, ASMR is related to the full conscious meditation and the flow technique used in the positive psychology, which is an intense state of concentration that happens when you ignore all the other stimulation around you. But as I said just before, people are affiliating ASMR to something weirdly sexual, some sort of fetishism. The reason why is because the ASMR artists are inducing intimacy and close relation and attention in their video. And in our society, intimacy is often affiliated to something sexual. But actually, what comes to your mind when I say braingasm? Something sexual, right? Well, actually, when you watch ASMR, your brain is creating wonderful hormones. There is oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. Those hormones help you to relax, to fall asleep, and they're addictive. So as Dr. Lemarquis said, ASMR can be related to a cerebral shot that gives you those goosebumps. Also, a research is from the University of Sheffield has shown that watching ASMR is reducing your heart rate, and that goes with the relaxing part of ASMR. But now that we know more about ASMR, I want to take you through a whole other subject, depression. So we all know what disease it is, all the different symptoms, and how different they can be from one person to another. Well, during my experience with depression, in addition to many symptoms, I could never fall asleep. Because of what? Because my brain was constantly overthinking and thinking about things that I didn't even want to, and maybe bad things. So I was prescribed medication to fight the deep sadness, this anxiety, and this lack of sleep. But I don't know, during that time, I stopped watching ASMR. But I restarted when I understand its power when it was coming to sleep. And as soon as I understand that, I throw my pills away. I know it's very dangerous and it's a bad way, but I found my medication for me to fall asleep and relax. But now we all know the effects that ASMR has, and we all know depression. What is the link between them, and how to cure depression with ASMR? So we saw that the main symptoms in depression is the lack of sleep. And actually the best way to cure depression is a cure of sleep. So you're sleeping 18 hours per day to cure it. But actually, you're constantly tired of thinking, struggling to find energy to do the most random task. And actually what you need is to give your body, your brain, and your inner self times to refill the battery. Also, during depression, you need attention. You need to be far away from loneliness. While ASMR will not be a friend of substitution, neither a shoulder to cry on. But when you need company and attention, ASMR is giving you a comfort zone. It's giving you kindness, relaxation, proximity. And this is related to your childhood, when your parents were giving you love and attention. A study from 2014 from Emma Barrett and Nick Davis has shown that 17% of the person who are watching ASMR are watching it to deal with stress. And 80% of the ASMR viewers are reporting positive effects on their mind and their mood. Why? Because ASMR is clearing your mind. Why? Because you're focusing your thoughts on only one thing. What is the ASMR artist doing? And this gives you the ability to turn off your overthinking part of your brain, turn off your thoughts, and the most important thing, falling asleep. So to end up, ASMR might not be enough on itself to cure depression, but it's definitely a boost to cure it, because you can find a sleep, turn off your brain, find relaxation, and give your body enough time to refill the battery. And you also can find a kind presence. That's why ASMR is not my every night Zen man. Would it be yours?